This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child, Johnny Karlic. And we are back for the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast. Got to turn up the headphones a little bit. I felt mine were a little quiet. I don't know about you.
Okay.
So I turned them up. We're all good. Rick and Johnny podcast where we talk about everything under the two nerdy suns. And like I've told you, we're kind of in that like
funk.
I hate this time of the year. It's like December, like end of November, December hits. There's not really a ton of news. Everyone's just kind of like, hey, we're going to go on like a month-long break. And hey, there's something here and something there. But it's not like news that we have to talk about. So it takes a little bit of time to come up with our topics. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys. Going to be talking Daredevil cancellation. We're going to be talking Overwatch, kind of. Also, check out Too Old to Game if you want all your gaming needs felt here on MVP. And then we're going to end things out talking movies for 2019. And could 2019 be the best year for movies that we've seen in a long time? But before we get into everything, a little bit of housekeeping here at the beginning. I'll make it quick. Number one, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That's where you can go and help support MVP. We obviously cannot do what we do every week without the help and support from our patrons, so we want to thank them and that we love them. Number two, if you want to go support us and get a little bit of swag in the process, not this shirt, but we have an MVP t-shirt. Link down below in the description or at mostvaluablepodcast.com where you can catch MVP each and every day. Then last but not least, please go over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, rate and review the show. Hope you give it a 5-star rating and let us know why you like listening to the show each and every week. But Johnny, we're going to start with some Netflix and Marvel news, whereas Daredevil joins the likes of Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and the Defenders and have now been axed by Netflix. And the way that I've seen this described is Netflix has said all the seasons of Daredevil, so the 3 seasons that they have, will stay on the service. However, the characters will be like the characters can be used in new and greater adventures, but it's not like, oh, it's going to be Netflix season 4 is going to be picked up on Disney Plus. The characters can be used. The
season's just over.
Daredevil season is right there. And the quote that I have here from Netflix is, Marvel's Daredevil will not return for a 4th season on Netflix. We are tremendously proud of the show's last and final season. And although it's painful for the fans, we feel it's best to close this chapter on a high note. We're thankful to showrunner Eric Olson and the show's writer, stellar crew, and the incredible cast, including Charlie Cox as Daredevil himself. And we're grateful for the fans who have supported the show over the years. While the series on Netflix has ended, the 3 existing seasons will remain on the service for years to come, while the Daredevil character will live on in future projects for Marvel. And that's the key thing. We'll live on in future projects for Marvel. And Johnny, that begs me to ask you the question, because I can't ask myself the question.
You could. Might be a little weird, though.
Let's say those future projects for Marvel is putting Daredevil into the MCU or actually into the universe of the MCU. How should Marvel introduce Daredevil into the MCU?
It's a good question. I would say a good one would be into a Spider-Man movie.
That first thing, you're reading my mind. That's the first thing I was thinking of. Like, it's the easiest.
It's the easiest.
We've seen these characters
like
linked before, and you can still then keep Kingpin, introduce a Kingpin into the MCU, and have Spider-Man and Daredevil kind of connected villain, like shared through a connected villain.
Or even like the sort of like first act to first and a half act. Oh, there's this guy that's just beating the shit out of people. He thinks that the Daredevil is the villain at first. Goes after him, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. We already know how that lineup goes. But what would be cool, and you and I discussed this a little bit beforehand. We already discussed too that we don't know if contractually it can happen because we don't know what kind of contract these actors had with Netflix.
If it'll be new actors, Charlie,
bring
Cox.
those guys back in because technically they're already established. They already are connected to the MCU via their side. It's just that those Netflix series weren't really considered in the actual MCU. Like they were never really referenced too much. So it'd be cool just to hey, you did a really good job with Kingpin. You did a really good job with Daredevil. We're just gonna absorb you and use you for our stuff now.
And another thing that, let me look up really quick just so I can get this right, is basically when it comes to the Daredevil character too, if I'm not mistaken, Matt Murdock wasn't the only Daredevil. Right?
That's true. I can't remember who else was, though.
What if they went with kind of let's say a Ben Urich?
Yeah, but do we really do that in Marvel MCU?
I don't know. Maybe they
don't they usually stick with whoever was that character?
True.
I mean, they could introduce later on a reference to Ben Urich?
Or Ben Urich's son.
Ben Urich's son. Or Urich's son, whatever.
Yeah. But that's also another thing too, is what helps Marvel is they never handcuff themselves to these Netflix characters.
Yeah, that's true.
Being in the universe. In the Q&A that the Russos just did, they said that they tried doing Infinity War.
Exactly.
Fit them in. They just couldn't do it.
But they didn't.
It was way too much stuff.
Which also brings to tell that hey, we wanted them to be in there. We just couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
So which means that it wasn't no, we don't want them. It's we want them in there. We just couldn't make it work in that time scheme or that in that movie in general. So that means we can't, they were thinking about taking those Netflix characters and pulling them into the MCU anyways.
And also
which would be great.
Another thing that kind of adds to this debate as well is if you're Marvel, let's say you want to do more projects with Daredevil, obviously. What is your plan of attack? Do you want to put Daredevil in, I'm not going to say his own solo movie per se, but do you want to put him in the movie category with a Spider-Man, like a Tom Holland, or do you want to treat him more like the Scarlet Witch, the Loki, the Vision, where it's hey, we're going to have a series for Disney Plus, kind of like what DC's doing with Titan. Which would be better? What would be actually spending the film budget or doing a little less to have a TV show for Disney Plus?
I'd say pull him into the MCU, any of them, to be honest, in some way, and then because that's how they did. That's technically what they did with Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Loki. Is they weren't just here's the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah.
You were in a Disney movie a few times. Now you get your own Disney Plus because we got to build up the hype for that character in the MCU as opposed to some people liked you on Netflix and for example, you didn't really like Luke Cage all that much.
No, I did.
The series
I didn't watch season 2, but season 1 I got through 5 or 6 episodes and I was and I just stopped watching.
And that's where people differ because it's a Netflix series, but they have a great job of. In MCU of making everyone like that character to some degree. You won't like all the characters 100%.
Yeah.
But there's characters you like. There's some good ratio of you like them to some percentage.
I also have this question is when Disney, and this is more of a Disney Plus question, when they do their TV series, how would you like them to do it? Do you want them to do it more like Netflix where it's here's the whole season, or what I kind of like, what DC Universe is doing, where it's hey,
once a week,
every Friday at this, for us, I think it's every Friday at 4 a.m, it airs. And it's just every Friday you get a new episode, and it'll, I think the Titans one runs for another 3 weeks until the 22nd, and then that season's over. Maybe it's because it's refreshing, and it kind of gives that
pulls
urgency
you back into the
for
TV.
Every Friday, kind of like what TV shows do, except it's that thing of it's not oh, I missed it, I can never watch it. If you miss it, it's okay, I got to make time to watch it, and I can go do that. Which would you prefer? The all-in-one binge or the we're going to give you little snack sizes until the very end, and then obviously you have them all?
Well, I don't mind. I guess I'd go with the binge only because, like, it's all there, and I can watch a few episodes here when I have time, a few episodes there, because I don't have a consistent schedule necessarily. Yeah, my new job is consistent, where I start at 7 o'clock. I don't know what time I'm getting out that day.
True.
There's days where I get out a lot. Most days I get out on time, but there's days I like stay 2.5 hours. You stay a half hour, stay 45 minutes. I still got 30-minute ride home still after that. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it or not. So I do prefer the binge part because I can say, hey, I feel like watching 3 episodes tonight, or I have time to watch an episode. I have time to watch 2 episodes. I don't have time to watch any episodes tonight. And I don't miss it. And I get it with the Titans thing. It's still there.
Another thing with the Titans thing, too.
There's other shows I want to get to as well. That's why.
Another thing with the Titans thing, too, that I just want to throw out that I wonder is, I wonder if DC chose to do it the way they did because they were unsure how people would react and how the reception would be to DC Universe. So I wonder if it was like, hey, we don't know if people are going to like this TV series. We don't know if people are going to like the service. Let's do it this way. So we get at least 3 payments from people.
That's true.
Where it's like you get October, November, December. Like for me and us for MVP, it doesn't matter for you and I because we did the year thing. We did they had like you do the year and it saves you like a couple months pay for what you're going to do it. And I knew we were going to use it for podcasts and everything here. So I'm like, you know what, we're just going to do it that way. But like, I could see them doing that for money reasons, but also at Disney Plus. I mean, maybe it's just the mouse where I could see a little bit of cockiness from the mouse where it's like, no, we'll give you all the episodes of this season because we know you're going to want this service because of everything else we've got.
Well, yeah, I mean
everything, all the Disney movies, all the Pixar movies.
Because it's not just going to be Marvel. It's all the Marvel movies, all the DC,
the Disney,
all the Disney movies, all the Pixar movies, Star Wars movies. So, and whatever else they grab up.
Do you think they'll have Disney Channel stuff on there?
They might pull, or like
why not?
Hey,
like Disney Lizzie McGuire seasons and stuff.
Old Disney, like older like '90s Disney shows, all
the Disney
early
Channel
2000s
original movies.
Yeah, that's what the one I was going to say next is all the Disney Channel originals. Pull them over. They could put whatever they want on there. They have a huge library.
Library.
Did I say library?
I think you said library.
They got a huge library.
They got a library, but
we got a library out back. It's about like, 2-story chiseled.
That's why I wonder with Disney, where it's like they'll probably do hey, here's the whole season because they know we're like they know we're gonna watch the Fry meme. Like here, take my money. You said you were coming out with it. Here, take my money. For me,
shut up and take my money.
I wonder what Daredevil. I don't think you do a solo movie.
No, not
because I've got shades of Ben Affleck in my head.
At least not off the bat. You put him in someone else's movie or like a group movie.
Spider-Man would be the one.
But let's expand it over to everyone else. Then you still have Jessica Jones. You have Iron Fist. You have Luke Cage. And I think the other thing is, let's say here's one that I'm going to bring up Luke Cage. This is one I was thinking about while we were talking. What if after Infinity Wars, they were like, okay, we want to introduce new people. Tony sent out the new Avengers protocol. One of them's Luke Cage because he's in the lineup in the comics. But he's not in a solo movie now. He's in another group movie of the new Avengers. And then you have Bucky there or Spider-Man or whoever else is part of the lineup they want to throw in. Because we know we don't have everyone at the moment. We're still working on the Fox deal. And again,
they're expecting that to be done by Avengers.
And I think they actually
the Avengers movie.
They were even talking that they were supposed to they were thinking about ways to throw them in there, but it's like we don't have them.
Yeah.
Like, because the Russos were thinking about, well, maybe we could throw 1 or 2 in the Avengers 4 movies. Like, we can't make it work yet.
And that's the thing. We don't know for sure if there's not going to be.
That's true.
Because the Russos kind of
They're tricky.
In the Q&A thing, one of them kind of teased, like, hey, mate, like that should be done by Avengers 4. Maybe we can find a way to sneak them in. Mm-hmm. Or sneak one or two in.
They're sneaky too with that because they purposely twist things. Let's look at it this way. When they put out Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity Wars, they actually put out where in the background they made CGI Hulk.
Dude,
just to throw us off.
And how much money they had to pay
just to get CGI Hulk
in there
for 5 seconds. Yeah. So they do these things so we don't actually know what's happening, which kudos to them.
And the last thing I was going to throw out about this,
but please give us our damn trailer.
So it's not official, but it's been hinted, I believe, that after Avengers 4, the next big thing they're going to lead up to is Secret Invasion or Secret Wars kind of a thing. And we've known for months that like the rumors like new Avengers, young Avengers. They also want to do like the Thunderbolts, which I believe right
Ross
now,
and
like
I forgot who else.
Well, like the team, the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
I believe, and I
which
think
would be
Punisher,
Thunderbolt. Ross is one of them,
and I think the Punisher is in that.
Well, there you go.
Which is also Punisher is not canceled yet. Him and Jessica Jones
haven't gotten the boot yet.
They will. I think they will.
I think they will.
Eventually, they're going to get cut. And the Punisher can then be in that, and they can use that. But it's like
exactly.
If they go with the new Avengers, Bucky's your Captain America. You don't have a Mockingbird. You can put someone in to fit her role. You already have
Agent 13. We talked.
You already have Captain
show.
Marvel. Mm-hmm. There's talks of Sony wanting to do a Spider-Woman movie. You can work out a deal with Sony.
Hey, Sony, let us introduce
Sony likes
her.
Money.
They could say, Sony, let us introduce her, and then you guys can use her.
And then also Power Woman, which is Jessica Jones.
There you go.
Which is like you can bring her into it. The Thing is also in it. Luke Cage has also been like.
Well, the thing is when we
Iron
get the
Fist and Luke Cage have been in.
We get the Fox rights, or if they want to, not solo necessarily, but solo movie, Heroes for Hire.
They could.
And then you said Deadpool at one point was in, didn't you? In another conversation we had.
In what?
Heroes for Hire, didn't we?
He was referenced in a Heroes for Hire comic.
There you go.
There was something where like he's been in a Heroes for Hire comic.
Well, there you go. If we get the Fox deal.
Deadpool's the one where he can cross over with anybody.
Exactly, that's true.
Because he's that mercenary.
Well, I mean, just think about the fan thing that's out there. I think there's even a petition to make, for Disney to make Deadpool the next Stanley type thing with the cameos.
Yeah. Wow. Just Deadpool cameos.
Yes. Would you be opposed?
No, Ryan Reynolds would do that in a heartbeat.
He would. I'm pretty sure he would.
But like, if you look at, and the last thing I'll say is like the new Avengers rosters. The original one was Iron Man, Steve Rogers, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Sentry, and Echo, with then Spider-Woman being added into it. Then post-Civil War, you had Doctor Strange, Iron Fist, and Ronan on the team. And then post-Secret Invasion was Bucky as Cap, Mockingbird, Captain Marvel, Spider-Woman, and then Power Woman. And then, like, The Thing has been there. For Fear Itself, the 2011 comic book run, Matt Murdock is in the new Avengers. So, like, I could see them. I'm going to form this team right now. And I like making predictions because, by the way, I was right about Jude Law in Captain Marvel.
You were.
I got to throw that out there. I was right. He's going to be Jan Rog. And I was all on that prediction. I was all like, I'm going to put my foot down. This is going to be it. Here's what I think the new Avengers.
Put money down on that.
Here's what I think the new Avengers lineup will be, and I'm going to be a little bit bold with this.
Okay.
I'm going to say 5 members. You think 5 members are good? Is maybe like 6.
Do 6.
Okay. So
if you got 6, do 6.
Number 1, Spider-Man. Number 2, Wolverine. Number 3, Doctor Strange. He's going to kind of be like the head of it. Then I'm going to say Captain Marvel, Daredevil, and then either Luke Cage or The Thing. Maybe The Thing because you want to put in a Fantastic Four thing.
True.
But I could see Luke Cage as well. So Spider-Man, Wolverine, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Daredevil, and then either the Thing or Luke Cage, but I'll say the Thing because you'll wanna.
I'll let you have the flip of the coin on that one.
Okay,
I'll let
Luke
you have
Cage
that.
and the Thing.
Yeah, I'll let you have.
Like
I'll let you have a slash on that one
because we don't know their plans for Fantastic Four
exactly.
And if they're not going to do anything with Fantastic Four right away, then
They
obviously
might throw
it'd
them
be
in
Luke
something.
Cage.
Yeah.
But I mean, that right there could be their lineup because of what they.
I'm gonna make one thrown on your lineup, and it's not a character. It's one of the
Go
comments
ahead.
you said. You said that Doctor Strange would be the head of it.
You think Peter Parker would?
Well,
be
I'm
going
going to say it this way more so. It's going to be Doctor Strange is the head of it.
He's
but
mentoring Peter
He's
Parker.
mentoring and kind of pushing Peter Parker to be the lead of it, so he doesn't have to. So he can go back and do his own thing.
Here's the only question.
Because he's got to protect the magic part of it.
Here's the only question I have. Mm-hmm. If you had to pick between the two, who would you have in? Doctor Strange or Ronan?
Doctor Strange.
Okay. Because Ronan was another one I'm like, oh, I could see Hawkeye kind of. But I would maybe save Hawkeye for they want to do Young Avengers.
And
Hawkeye
have him
is in the lead
and have
of
him lead it, yeah. Because he's like
leading the young
mentoring
kids, yeah. But I mean, you got to have that one like Tony Stark like figure. And I don't think Iron Fist would be it. I don't think Spider-Man, I think Doctor Strange would be, and Benedict Cumberbatch, I think, would stay around.
I think he would.
And
it's still the Doctor Strange 2.
And I don't think, I would love them to. I don't think they're going to give the Captain America mantle to Bucky. No. I don't think they're going to do it. And I saw an article on Screen Rant, by the way, where it's I want to read it because it's an interesting title of Is the MCU Wasting Sebastian Stan?
They are if they don't make him Captain America.
Could kind of be the debate if they don't make him Cap. But this is where you guys
at least in one movie. Sorry,
or
just
that Disney Plus series with him and Falcon. That's supposed to be that like buddy cop.
That'd be hilarious
because they are doing it's.
I
Vision
heard about
and
that.
Scarlet, Loki, and then
Sebastian and
Bucky
Falcon.
and Falcon are supposed to have their own series. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I know we started with Daredevil. We always kind of go off and do a tangent.
We always
do.
It's important too.
I love it though. But let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section about anything we talked about in this segment.